Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. And this morning we're honoring and remembering the life of Queen Elizabeth II, who passed away yesterday at 96. This is creating our question of the morning. Do you plan on honoring Queen Elizabeth II? Make sure you vote online through our app and take part in our discussion on our Facebook page.
Plus, our very own Amber Jenkins takes us to Joplin's NALA second annual literacy liftoff event.
All right, but first, our top stories right now at 5. This year marks the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and MSSU celebrates it with a panel discussion.
And it looks like another beautiful day across the 4 states with mostly sunny skies. There are some changes in the forecast though. We're watching weekend rain chances, slight chances of rain, I'll mention on that. And then we're going to be looking at some chilly mornings coming up. And of course, I'll have details in your forecast coming straight up.
And Crowder College is now in the possession of books about the Civil War.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Buck.
And I'm Sam Lane, here with the weather.
Yeah.
Giving Chris a few days off. He deserves it. You know, I guess giving him a 3-day weekend today.
It's wonderful having you here this morning.
Well, it's good to be here. It's a little early.
Gonna adjust your schedule a little bit for you to join us this morning.
Wipe the sleepy out of my eyes a little bit, but it's not too bad.
Hopefully you're a coffee drinker.
I am not. I love drinking tea though.
Neither is Chris. He doesn't really handle coffee that well either. Yeah. He said not our station coffee.
Yeah, I drink lots of tea. So I drank some before I came. Yes, and it's working this morning. So.
All right. Well, I found when I started the morning show some 15 years ago, I didn't like coffee either. I couldn't drink it at all. And I just drink Mountain Dew every morning. But
I used to drink Mountain Dew like it was water, but I never acquired the taste for coffee. I don't know why. I just never did.
Well, I'd say it's never too late to start, but if you have another way, go for it.
Absolutely.
How about I check the forecast?
We have a great forecast looking on today with another beautiful day, mostly sunny skies. We are watching some rain chances as we head towards the weekend, but looking at some of the later data, it doesn't appear that the rain chances are going to be that great. But the good news is we are going to have some fall weather coming in here with some chilly mornings ahead of us. And right now on radar, it's pretty much all clear, not a whole lot going on. We are watching some showers and storms way up to the north associated with a cold front that's going to be moving down across our area over the weekend. And that's what's going to introduce our rain chances. You can see that storm activity up to the north along the northern plains. Also, we're watching the remnants of Tropical Storm K dumping some rain for the much needed folks in Southern California and Arizona. But it looks like K is going to make its way off towards the west, and the rain chances are going to decrease for them as well, but at least they have a little bit in store. All right, let's take a look outside right now. You can see it's a pleasant evening, or a pleasant morning, I should say. See, I got to get used to the schedule here. Right now it's 66 in Joplin. It feels like 66 because the dew point is at 60 degrees. We have a humidity of 81%. There might be a little bit of patchy fog in some of the river valleys if you're driving this morning, and the pressure is currently steady. Temperatures are very chilly, if you want to call it chilly, up to the north where it's in the lower 60s, 62 in Chanute, 61 in Fredonia right now, also 61 in Anderson and Grove. Meanwhile, here in Joplin, one of the warmer readings at 66 degrees. Let's take a look at the bus stop forecast. Kids had to head out to school, 65 this morning with easterly winds. Then this afternoon, they come home, it's going to be around 83 degrees. So it looks like a great day shaping up, Tanya.
All right, it does. I love these early morning temperatures.
Absolutely.
Below 70 for sure. All right, thanks, Sam. Neosho, Missouri police say a man is dead after a crash involving a suspected drunk driver. The crash happened around 7:30 Wednesday night on Neosho Boulevard. Authorities say a pickup pulled into traffic and was hit by 2 other vehicles. There were 2 people in the bed of the pickup who were ejected in the crash. And one of those people and the driver suffered moderate injuries. The other, 39-year-old Jeremy Olmstead of Neosho, was killed. The 2 other drivers were uninjured. Police found the driver of the pickup under the influence at the time. Formal charges are pending. On Thursday, no one was injured when an SUV rear-ended a Joplin school bus. The bus was loaded with Joplin students heading to Soaring Heights Elementary. Now, the school district says parents were contacted and most of the students were taken to school on another bus, while some were transported by parents. And once at school, the students were checked out by district nurses. Well, this year marks the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and MSSU is celebrating it with a panel discussion regarding the milestone gender equity law and its impact. Title IX protects people from discrimination based on sex in education programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance. One panelist says the law has been very impactful.
To be aware of Title IX, to be aware of the protections and the rights that you have under it, particularly women and queer students. It provides a lot of access, it provides a lot of ability to have safe space and access in higher ed.
Title IX was passed in the summer of 1972. Joplin's Neighborhood Adult Literacy Action hosted the second annual Literacy Liftoff at MSSU. Literacy Liftoff is the biggest annual fundraiser, raising funds to keep their services free for the community. The event had yard games, food trucks, and even hot air balloon rides.
It is just a fun, free community event, but it is our biggest fundraiser of the year, so it helps raise funds so that we can provide services free of charge to the community.
Joplin Nala Reed has been servicing Jasper and Newton counties for more than 40 years. Crowder College is now in possession of a collection of books about the Civil War. Dr. Daniel Sutherland is a retired history professor from the University of Arkansas. He's also written more than a dozen books about the Civil War. On Thursday, he donated those books to Crowder.
I think this is a region that appreciates the complexity of the Civil War, and a lot of people don't realize just how active this specific region was during the Civil War. There were more battles in Virginia and Tennessee, and that's about it. In the U.S. Civil War, Missouri was a hotbed of activity, and a lot of that was guerrilla warfare and internecine warfare.
The collection is available in the Lee Library at Crowder.
Pretty neat. And we're looking at beautiful skies today. 87 for your high, 80 at lunchtime, 86 by 5 o'clock, and by 8 o'clock around 75 degrees. And as we go into the overnight hours, we're looking at those clear skies continuing with a low of 62, so very pleasant across the area. And then as we head towards the weekend, we're going to see those rain chances, especially late tomorrow night into early Sunday morning. But look at the high on Sunday, only 75 degrees, a major cool down across the area. And don't forget, if you want to check us out, you can download us and be with us at all times with the KOAM News Now app.
That's right. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Nevada and East Newton see some Thursday night game action. We'll tell you who won.
And plus, yesterday, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II passed away, and we'll have how the world is honoring the late Queen.
And first responders who responded to the World Trade Center have been dealing with chronic health issues for more than 2 decades. We'll explain how research is delving into long-term impact, including how COVID-19 affects them. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
And Her Royal Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died at the age of 96 years old. Buckingham Palace issued a statement saying the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral, her residence in Scotland. Ian Lee looks back at her wonderful life.
Even into her 90s, Queen Elizabeth II kept up her royal duties. She became the longest reigning monarch in British history in 2015.
Inevitably, a long life can pass by many milestones. My own is no exception.
At 25 years old, Elizabeth became queen. Millions watched the first ever televised crowning of a British monarch. Queen Elizabeth worked with more than a dozen British prime ministers, beginning with Winston Churchill, and was head of state in 15 other Commonwealth countries. A series of royal dramas marked her reign. Her son Andrew's high-profile marriage to Sarah Ferguson failed. And in 1992, her oldest son, Charles, separated from Princess Diana. That same year, the Queen watched part of Windsor Castle go up in flames, destroying millions in art and furniture.
1992 is not a year on which I shall look back with undiluted pleasure.
In 1997, a car crash in Paris killed Princess Diana, stunning the world. Many criticized the Queen for not showing emotion. More than a decade later, the Queen celebrated a royal wedding as her grandson, Prince William, married Kate Middleton. The couple gave the Queen 3 heirs to the throne. The Queen watched another tiny royal join the family after her youngest grandson, Prince Harry, married Meghan Markle. Just a few years later, the Queen lost her husband of 73 years. She called the death of Prince Philip a huge void in her life, but she carried on. And at 96 years old, celebrated her Platinum Jubilee. The week of fanfare and festivities marked the Queen's 70 years on the British throne. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
And of course, the Queen's successor is Charles III, her older son. The palace says that the King and Queen will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London later today. This brings us to something to talk about. Do you plan on honoring Queen Elizabeth II? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or on the KOAM app, our Facebook page, or you can of course scan the QR code. Still to come, can a video game help with COVID-19 brain fog? Plus, a check of the 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. The Pittsburgh State Gorillas are on the road for the first time this season. The Gorillas have a tough one, though, hitting the road to Kearney, Nebraska to face the 11th ranked Lopers. Both of these teams are 1-0 coming into tonight's game. Listen, the game was so wild, man. It was tied at 28 with under a minute to go. But Chad Dodson Jr. finds Bryce Murphy for a 72-yard touchdown with just 12 seconds on the clock. And the Gorillas knock off the Lopers 35-28. Murphy goes for 119 and a score. Devin Garrison adds 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Gorillas are now 2-0 and will return home on the 17th, hosting Northeastern State from Tahlequah. And the Nevada Tigers are off to a hot start this football season as well. The Tigers are 2-0 in their first 2 games, outscoring their opponents in a combined 96-14. Nevada hosting a little Thursday night action against the East Newton Patriots. East Newton trying for their first win of the fall. The first Tigers possession, Cade Bashore connects with Avius Stedman, gets to the outside and in for the score. After a fumble recovery, Nevada does some damage. Jordan Johnson runs it up the middle. Touchdown, Tigers 13-0. Later in the first, East Newton ball now. Not for much longer though. Tyler Longobardi snatches it out of the air for the interception, and Nevada cashes in with a long touchdown by Drew Betchler. Second quarter, Tigers stay rolling. Handoff to Case Sanderson. He battles his way in for 6. And then, threatening once again, Bashore airs it out. Longobardi lays out for the touchdown, and Nevada keeps East Newton off the board the whole way through for a score of 68-0, the final. So a great game up there. All right, we have some great weather in shape for us tonight. If you're heading out to the football games in the area, we're looking at for State Friday night football forecast. We're expecting the call on the field to be holding on to some decent weather. Around kickoff, around 7 o'clock tonight, temperature around 78 degrees, halftime temperature of 74. It's going to be warm, but on the clear side, so no weather factors for tonight's games. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. Watching some shower chances for this weekend, but today we're going to have another beautiful day with mostly sunny skies and light winds. But then as we head towards the weekend, we're going to be watching those rain chances. They're slim, and the better chance of rain is going to be up in our northern sections, up near Nevada and Fort Scott and Mound City. One thing is for sure, we're going to see some chilly mornings ahead of us as that cold front moves down from the north and west. We're going to see temperatures dropping into the 50s. And so it's going to be one of those nights where you open up the windows and enjoy. Radar right now is pretty clear across the area, even all for the southern plains. It's clear. The next area of rain is up in the northern plains. That's associated with that cold front that's going to be moving down from the north. We're also watching some rain in the deserts of the southwest with the remnants of Tropical Storm K, but it looks like K is going to move offshore, but at least they're going to get a little bit of rainfall. 7th and range line right now, pretty clear. 66 degrees out there, feels like 66 with a dew point of 60 degrees and the humidity is 81%. Be watchful of some fog though in some of the river valleys. We could see some of that. Right now, the pressure is currently steady. Temperatures are very pleasant this morning. 61 in Fredonia, 63 in Yates Center, 64 in Nevada, 60 over there in Stockton right now, as well as Monette, 65 in Columbus. Down in Oklahoma, 64 currently for our friends in Veneta. Your bus stop forecast looks like this. Off to school, 65 degrees with an easterly wind turning around to the southeast at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then by the time you come home tonight, 83 degrees with southerly winds. And then as we head through the day, we're going to see temperatures rising into the 80s across our area. And of course, I'll have more details in your forecast coming straight up, so stay with us.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, as many as 23 million Americans have developed what's known as long COVID. According to federal estimates, symptoms of the disease can persist for weeks, months, even years. Mandy Gaither has more on an experimental treatment for long COVID that uses a video game to improve symptoms of brain fog.
For those struggling with long COVID, the symptoms can take a heavy toll.
I almost feel like long COVID has taken my life away, and I want it back.
Right now, it's unclear why some get long COVID while others do not. Symptoms vary but can include fatigue, heart and respiratory problems like shortness of breath, joint and muscle pain, and neurological issues including what's known as brain fog.
I feel like there's a virus in my brain, and it's changing. It's changing things in my brain because I can't think, I can't remember.
Often people are complaining of memory problems, and when you dig in, you find out the deficits are in attention.
Psychologist James Jackson says the inability to pay attention is the underlying issue for brain fog, so he decided to test an experimental treatment. His patients play a video game.
When we opened the door to this research, when we invited patients to participate, there was a stampede.
There's even a dose prescribed, 25 minutes a day, 5 days a week for 8 weeks. Jackson says his long COVID patients are finding it helpful.
Is it going to translate into you being able to do your taxes? Are you going to be able to be organized? Are you going to be able to be driving? And when you stop the game, do all those benefits stop? And we'll see at the end of the day if this works or not. If it does, I think it opens the door to a lot of possibilities.
The CDC says groups that might be more at risk for developing long COVID include those who had severe illness from COVID-19, people with underlying health conditions before being infected with the coronavirus, and those who did not get a COVID-19 vaccine, and those who experience multi-symptom inflammatory syndrome, or MIS, during or after being sick from COVID. Well, a new study suggests a brisk daily walk could help reduce your risk of dementia. The journal JAMA Neurology published the study on Tuesday. Researchers analyzed data from over 78,000 people between the ages of 40 and 79 who wore smart wristbands. They tallied up their steps and found those who took more than 9,800 steps every day were 50% less likely to develop dementia within 7 years. Even people who walked 3,800 steps a day saw a drop in their risk of mental decline. This was cut down even further if the person walked more than 40 steps a minute. Because of this, researchers suggest those concerned about dementia should focus on their walking pace over their distance. For more than 2 decades, tens of thousands of responders have been dealing with chronic health issues after their exposure to toxic dust and debris after the September 11th terror attacks. And now research is looking at other long-term impacts on these patients, including COVID-19. Dan Lieberman has more.
Michael Gullub spent 11 months at Ground Zero, first as a volunteer with his fire department. Later, the company he worked for was contracted by the city.
I was responsible for the medical care for everybody that was on the site.
Within a week or so, he couldn't stop coughing.
I had that for years until I started coming here and getting the proper medication.
Here is the Stony Brook World Trade Center Wellness Program. Thousands of responders are seen with conditions such as obstructive airway disease, asthma, cancer, PTSD, and depression.
This gives rise to a variety of susceptibility and vulnerability to being able to deal with other diseases or infections.
Program Director Dr. Benjamin Luff's latest research looks at nearly 1,300 responders who had COVID-19. Data shows patients with 9/11 related chronic conditions are more likely to have more severe infection and suffer with long COVID symptoms such as shortness of breath and brain fog.
Now that we've been able to follow these patients for as long as a year, we find about 15% of our patients continue to have problems with long COVID.
Another recent study suggests responders with PTSD could be affected by a specific form of dementia. Michael encourages responders to be monitored and get treatment.
The first few years before the program, I used to tell people when I die, put 9/11. I don't think that anymore.
And he's grateful he's still here with his family. Dan Lieberman, CBS News.
It's estimated more than 80,000 responders are enrolled in World Trade Center health programs. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And if you're suffering from allergies, here's why. On the Allergy Outlook, we're looking at readings of around 10.6 out of a scale of 12. Tomorrow, a little bit of improvement. Most of this is ragweed and chenopod. Your 7-day forecast today, 87, then tomorrow, 88, with a chance of storms late Saturday into early Sunday morning, with a high of only 75 for your Sunday. We'll have more when we come back.
Right now, coming up at 5:30, coming up this year marks the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and MSSU celebrates it with a panel discussion.
And we have some rain chances in our forecast, but I wanted to talk about history a little bit. Back on this date in 1821, a big tornado outbreak. Fortunately, no tornadoes in our forecast.
And Crowder College is now in the possession of books about the Civil War.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:31. I'm Tanya Bach.
And I'm Sam Lane.
All right.
It's a good morning so far. A little bit of fog out there, not too bad. We're watching, especially in the river valleys where the cool air kind of filters in. That's when, well, I think I clicked the wrong graphic on there. I apologize. I clicked on the wrong thing. So let's go past that. Let's look at the radar. It's been all clear. Nothing really going on right now. However, that's going to change as we head towards the weekend with the chance of showers as we move into Sunday morning. And we're going to be seeing that mainly up towards the north. So for instance, up in Nevada, Fort Scott area, that's where the best chance of showers are going to be as we move into Sunday morning. Not everybody's going to see rainfall, unfortunately. I wish it was a widespread event, but it looks like it's going to be isolated showers at best. But the good news is we're going to see cooler temperatures, more fall-like conditions, and that's because of this cold front that's now across the northern plains. That's going to move south, and as it does, we're going to see those rain chances increase as well as the cooler weather. It's pretty cool this morning out there with 61 in Fredonia, 62 in Iola, 63 in Nevada, 65 over in Carthage, 60 currently over in Monette and in Cassville. Meanwhile, it's 64 down in Veneta. Your forecast for this afternoon, if you're heading out on the school bus, 65 degrees this morning with southeasterly winds, and by this evening, by the time the kids head home, 83 degrees with a south wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Your lunch day forecast looks like this. Mostly sunny with a high of around 80 degrees at lunchtime, 86 by around 5 o'clock, a high today of 87, and then we start dropping down into the 70s by 8 o'clock, 75 degrees. And then overnight, we're looking at mostly clear skies with a low of 62, with temperatures dropping down through the 60s as we head into tomorrow morning. And then we're going to be seeing, again, that chance of showers on our forecast right here, Saturday evening, showers across central and northeastern Kansas. Then watch as this goes through into motion. We'll see those showers barely crush or move through our area around 56 on Sunday. And then as we move into Sunday afternoon, temperatures only in the mid-70s. It'll feel like fall out there. And then as we head through Sunday night into Monday, we're going to see temperatures in the lower 50s, Tanya.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to those lows
Me
when
too.
they get into
Me
the
too.
50s. That's going to be nice.
Very nice.
All right. Thanks, Sam.
Uh-huh.
Well, this year marks the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and MSSU is celebrating it with a panel discussion regarding the milestone gender equity law and its impact. Title IX protects people from discrimination based on sex in education programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance. One panelist says the law has been very impactful.
We've gotten to a point 50 years later where a lot of people might take it for granted that women are participating in athletics, that we have female airline pilots, that we have female doctors, female attorneys. And it's never a bad idea to go back and review how we got where we are today.
Title IX was passed in the summer of 1972. A local adult literacy organization hosts hot air balloon rides to promote reading. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Joplin's Neighborhood Adult Literacy Action says about 11,000 adults in Newton and Jasper counties have low literacy levels. The organization focuses on promoting and improving adult literacy in the community.
So important for Joplin Naylor Reed to offer free classes and free services. Everything is also everything is confidential.
The second annual Literacy Liftoff is meant to bring the community together while promoting literacy.
It is just a fun, free community event, but it is our biggest fundraiser of the year, so it helps raise funds so that we can provide services free of charge to the community.
Literacy is a skill that everyone needs constant practice.
Of many students who've come to us over the years who have gone from poverty and then been able to increase their skills, get a better job, move up. We have some who've even started their own businesses later.
Our literacy can uplift you higher than a hot air balloon. Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The Joplin Neighborhood Adult Literacy Action has been serving the community since 1981. Crowder College is now in possession of a collection of books about the Civil War. Dr. Daniel Sutherland is a retired history professor from the University of Arkansas. He's also written more than a dozen books about the Civil War. On Thursday, he donated those books to Crowder.
I think this is a region that appreciates the complexity of the Civil War, and a lot of people don't realize just how active this specific region was during the Civil War. There were more battles in Virginia and Tennessee, and that's about it. In the U.S. Civil War, Missouri was a hotbed of activity, and a lot of that was guerrilla warfare and internecine warfare.
The collection is available in the Lee Library at Crowder.
And it looks like it's going to be another beautiful day across the area with a high of around 87 degrees, lunchtime temperature 80. And then as we head towards the football games tonight, temperatures in the mid-70s. And then overnight, we're going to drop down to 62 degrees with mostly clear skies. But then the clouds will start increasing as we head through the day on Saturday with a chance of showers, especially late Saturday night into early Sunday morning, and much cooler temperatures on Sunday.
All right. Well, this morning we are discussing the life and legacy of Queen Elizabeth. Even into her 90s, Queen Elizabeth II kept up her royal duties. She became the longest reigning monarch in British history in 2015. And at 25 years old, Elizabeth became queen. Millions watched the first ever televised crowning of a British monarch. Queen Elizabeth worked with more than a dozen British prime ministers, beginning with Winston Churchill, and was head of state in 15 other Commonwealth countries. A lot has happened during her reign, including Prince Andrew's failed marriage to Sarah Ferguson and the death of Princess Diana. She also lost her husband, Prince Philip, who she called a huge void in her life. But she carried on, and at 96 years old, celebrated her Platinum Jubilee. A week of fanfare and festivities marked the Queen's 70 years on the British throne. That brings us to our something to talk about this morning.
Yeah.
That's right.
And do you plan on honoring Queen Elizabeth II, yes or no? And of course, we've kind of chosen to do that today by dressing in black in honor of Queen Elizabeth II.
Of course, it's no secret. I've always been a huge fan of Queen Elizabeth and the royal family. And anytime we have stories about what's going on over there, I love to share them. And I know that she's had a huge impact on more than just in the UK. So like I have on my Facebook page, I'm asking you to go to it and share your memories or of the royal family of Queen Elizabeth as well.
Quite a reign. I mean, just unmatched, wouldn't you say?
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Wow, incredible. So.
All right. Well, that's a look at our top news stories.
Yep.
Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, do you like games like The Sims and Animal Crossing? Yeah, not me, but some do. What about Disney? Well, if you answered yes to any of these questions, then we have the game just for you.
Plus, we continue to honor the legacy and life of the late Queen Elizabeth II, and of course, we will have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, the UK is waking up to its first full day without Queen Elizabeth II on the throne. Britain and the world are grieving and reflecting after the 96-year-old monarch died at her palace in Scotland on Thursday. Tina Krause is at Windsor Castle with more as the nation begins what will be a nearly 2-week period of mourning.
Outside London's Buckingham Palace, a large crowd sang Britain's national anthem. Across the nation, people are looking back on the life and legacy of Queen Elizabeth II's 7 decades on the throne.
And we've all known just one queen. She's a person we've always looked up to somehow.
After the news of her death at age 96, countless people from around the world turned up here at the Queen's primary residence, Windsor Castle. They're still coming this morning, bringing flowers, notes, and heavy hearts.
She led this country with great reverence and duty and respect and honor, and I just don't know if there will be another like her.
Queen Elizabeth ruled through 15 prime ministers, from Winston Churchill to the newly elected Liz Truss. The Queen's passing Thursday at Balmoral Castle, her summer home in Scotland, instantly elevated her son Charles to the throne as King Charles III.
She was a great lady.
In Washington, President Biden and the First Lady paid their respects and signed a condolence book at the British Embassy. The American flag flew at half-staff at the White House and the U.S. Capitol in the Queen's honor. New York City's Empire State Building was bathed in purple and silver light. Back in London, even Mother Nature paid a colorful tribute with a double rainbow over Buckingham Palace just before the Queen's death was announced. In the coming days, her state funeral will be held at Westminster Abbey. Tina Krause, CBS News, Windsor, England.
73, King Charles III is the oldest person to ever assume the British throne. No date has been set for his coronation. Charles's wife, Camilla, will be known as Queen Consort. That title, the title that eventually came with Queen Elizabeth's blessing. That's a look at one of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Sam with another look at your forecast.
And it looks like it's going to be a great day across the area with mostly sunny skies. Another beautiful day shaping up across our region, but we are watching rain chances, especially up towards the north. There's slim rain chances, but at least it's something. And then we're looking at chilly mornings ahead of us, especially in some of the colder valleys. We're going to see temperatures maybe in the upper 40s. We'll get to that in a moment, but right now radar is all clear across the 4-state region. We have to go all the way up to the Dakotas and Nebraska before we start to see any rain. That's associated with a cold front that is headed our direction. That's what's going to bring the cooler fall weather into our area. We're also watching the remnants of Tropical Storm K in Southern California and Southern Arizona, giving them a little bit of relief from the drought. Temperatures this morning are very pleasant. 62 in Chanute right now, also in Parsons, Fort Scott, 62, 64 in Lamar, 66 here in Joplin, 61 for our friends down in Grove, and 64 in Veneta at the hour. Your bus stop forecast, if you're heading out with the kids off to school, 65 degrees with a southeasterly wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then by this evening and afternoon, we'll see temperatures around 83 degrees by the time the kids head home, and a south wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So if you're planning your day, a high of 87 today with mostly fair skies, lunchtime temperature 80, 86 by 5 o'clock, and by the time the football games start, temperatures in the mid-70s. And then if you're heading out in the overnight hours, we're expecting a low of 62 tonight as temperatures fall through the 60s from 11 o'clock right on down into the early morning hours. Then as we take a look at the forecast, we're going to see those showers developing up in Kansas as we head through the afternoon and evening tomorrow. Then as the front gets a little bit closer to us, most of the energy is going to be up to the north, and we'll see temperatures dropping down into the upper 50s by Sunday morning. And then Sunday afternoon, a high of only around 73, 75 degrees here in the area, with the front moving through northerly winds, making it feel much cooler. And then look at this, a low of 52 by Monday morning. And again, some of those outlying areas could see temperatures in the upper 40s, so it'll definitely feel more like fall. Then as we head through Monday afternoon, temperatures in the mid-80s across our area. Your next 7 days looks like this: 88 on Saturday, 75 on Sunday with those showers in the morning. Then we start to head back into summer as we head into the early part of next week. Stay with us because we have more news coming right up.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Neosho, Missouri police say a man is dead after a crash involving a suspected drunk driver. The crash happened around 7:30 Wednesday night on Neosho Boulevard. Authorities say a pickup pulled into traffic and was hit by 2 other vehicles. There were 2 people in the bed of the pickup who were ejected in the crash. One of those people and the driver suffered moderate injuries. The other, 39-year-old Jeremy Olmstead of Neosho, was killed. The 2 other drivers were uninjured. Police found the driver of the pickup to be under the influence at the time. Formal charges are pending. On Thursday, luckily no one was injured when an SUV rear-ended a Joplin school bus. The bus was loaded with Joplin students heading to Soaring Heights Elementary. The school district says parents were contacted and most of the students were taken to school on another bus, while some were transported by parents. Once at school, the students were checked by district nurses. Police in Las Vegas arrest the Clark County Public Administrator Robert Tellis for the murder of 69-year-old veteran newspaper reporter Jeff German. Police say video reveals the suspect confronted the journalist outside his home last Friday morning. Video also showed a GMC Yukon Denali at the crime scene. On Wednesday, Tellis was seen with a car matching that description in his driveway. Police traced DNA found on Tellis's hat and shoes to the crime scene. In May, German wrote a series of articles for the Las Vegas Review-Journal critical of Tellis's conduct on the job, including allegations of emotional stress, bullying, and favoritism in the public administrator's office. Tellis accused German of derailing his re-election. He lost in a 3-way Democratic primary in June. Well, outside London's Buckingham Palace, a large crowd sang Britain's national anthem yesterday. Across the nation, Britons are looking back on the life and legacy of Queen Elizabeth II's 7 decades on the throne. Queen Elizabeth ruled through 15 prime ministers, from Winston Churchill to the newly elected Liz Truss. The Queen's passing on Thursday at her Balmoral Castle, her summer home in Scotland, instantly elevated her son Charles to the throne as King Charles III. In Washington, President Biden and the First Lady paid their respects and signed a condolence book at the British Embassy. The American flag flew at half-staff at the White House and the U.S. Capitol in the Queen's honor. In the coming days, her state funeral will be held at Westminster Abbey. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And here's the weather that you need to know. Another beautiful day across our area with mostly sunny skies, but we are watching rain chances, especially Sunday morning across our area and also mainly up towards the north. Then as we go through the weekend, we're going to see chilly mornings ahead of us as well. Let's take a look at your day. 87 degrees this afternoon, starting out at around 80 degrees for your lunchtime, 86 at 5 o'clock, and then by the time we start the football games, temperatures in the mid-70s, and then overnight we're going to see lows dropping down into the lower 60s once again with mostly fair skies. A few clouds starting to increase ahead of that next storm system, and you can see temperatures dropping through the 60s. Then as we go through the next 7 days, we're going to see warm weather today and tomorrow, but then a chance of showers Sunday morning with a low of 60 on Sunday morning. And then we're going to see those showers mainly up to the north on Sunday morning, but a high of only 75 for your Sunday. Then as we go into Monday morning, check out the low, 54 degrees, maybe some upper 40s in some of the outlying areas. And then as we start the next week, we're going to see temperatures returning back to more summer-like weather with highs in the 90s and lows in the 60s. More news coming straight up, so stay with us.
Well, if you're a Disney fan who also enjoys video games like Animal Crossing and My Sims, Rick Damigella has a story about a new game that's right up your alley.
There once was a dream world in which familiar friends, from the most heroic to the most villainous, lived together in harmony.
The developers of Disney Dreamlight Valley may have created a dream come true for gamers wishing to live in a world of Disney.
You can even create your own designs with the Touch of Magic tool.
The Life Sim adventure lets you inhabit a world filled with Disney and Pixar characters.
The valley was once a happy and magical place, until one day the forgetting set in.
Which means gamers will go on quests to restore the magic. Beyond the adventuring aspect of the game, players can go fishing, gardening, even cook their grown ingredients with Ratatouille's Remy, and design their homes and neighborhoods. Disney Dreamlight Valley is playable now on Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation consoles, as well as on PC.
This is a place where every day is a dream come true.
Leveling up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
I am a fan of Disney, though.
Yeah, my daughter is too. But I think Disney got enough of my money, you know, watching my daughter grow up and stuff. And I don't think they're going to get any more of my money with that. So.
You don't think you'll be playing that game?
No, I never was into video games a lot, but watched all the Disney movies, of course, with my daughter multiple times. She had it like the dialogue memorized and everything. So.
And the music.
Yeah, the music is great.
Love it.
Yep.
All right, we'll be right back with another check of your forecast.
And we have a 7-day forecast for you. Looking pretty good for today. A high of only 87. Tomorrow, 88. Then the front comes through. And so as a result, we introduce a chance of showers, especially Sunday morning. Most of that's going to be up to the north. A high of only 75 with northerly winds. It'll feel like cool fall out there, especially with these morning lows of 54 on Monday morning, 84 Monday afternoon. But then we start going right back into summer with highs in the lower 90s across the area and lows in the 60s. So it looks like we're going to have summer return. Unfortunately, I wish we had more rainfall in our forecast, but it looks like it's going to be dry for quite some time, and that's not going to help the drought situation. Of course, we'll have more details in your forecast coming straight up, so you'll want to stay tuned as the morning news continues to roll on.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. Today marks the first day in over 90 years the British Empire can no longer say, "God save the Queen," as England's longest reigning monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, passed away on Thursday. Now, with such a legacy, we're asking how the 4 states will remember the Queen and how she will be honored.
And so our question today is, do you plan on honoring Queen Elizabeth II? Make sure you vote online through our app or take part in our discussion, of course, on our Facebook page. Plus, it took 22 years, but the city of Parsons, Kansas turns a tornado into triumph as the city sees businesses on its main street hit almost 100% capacity. Our own Jana Hatala?
Yana Hatula, yeah.
Okay, talks with some of the store owners to get a closer look at this great achievement.
But first, our top stories right now at 6. A Wednesday evening crash takes the life of a man in Neosho, and authorities find evidence of driving under the influence.
And we're looking at another beautiful day today across our area with temperatures in the 80s. And then as we go through the forecast, we're going to see those rain chances increasing as we head towards Sunday morning especially, but not too bad. Most of the rain is going to be up towards the north. And then we're going to see chilly mornings across our area, and we'll have more details in your forecast coming straight up.
Also, the city of Parsons looks to tee up a disc golf tournament to benefit the Children's Miracle Network Hospital.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
And I'm Sam Lane, sitting in for Chris this morning.
Yeah.
Who's taking a few days extra off.
Decided to give him a little vacation.
He deserves it.
He was here on Labor Day, so we
That's
were
right.
teasing yesterday that he had to labor on Labor Day so we could get a 3-day weekend
That's
this
right.
weekend.
Went over with him to Parsons yesterday and really enjoyed Parsons, and I see that they're going to do a disc golf tournament there.
Yeah, they're
cool.
building disc golf courses there, and you know, we teased a little bit about the businesses downtown
Yes.
have really prospered and stuff since that tornado. So,
Yeah, we were set up yesterday near a building which had a plaque on the building talking about the tornado in April of 2000. And the guy that came, he kind of talked about where it went through the town and did a lot of damage, and they're really recovering nicely.
Yeah, and Chris also did an interview with the museum director there in Parsons, and wow, like just looking at the video of everything they have and in the 2 museums that they have there, the Farm Heritage Museum and then the Historical Museum, it's like, I need to go check that out.
I know.
For sure.
And they have a great park there too, the gathering place. It was a really, really great day over there in Parsons. Of course, that was all part of our More Power to the People tour.
Yeah, More Power to You tour, yep. And it was great weather there.
It was. And we're going to have that great weather continuing. As you can see, another beautiful day shaping up across our area. We are watching the rain chances, of course, this weekend. And we're also watching the chilly temperatures that are going to be ahead of us as well, especially as we move into Monday morning. Right now, radar is all clear across the 4 states. We have to go all the way up to the northern plains before we start to see the remnants of the next storm system that's going to be moving in our direction with that cold front. We're also watching the remnants of Tropical Storm K affecting Southern California of all places, and Southern Arizona helping out with their drought situation. Speaking of drought, we need some rain around here, but unfortunately we're not going to see a whole lot of rain, even with this system coming up over the weekend. Right now in Joplin, it's 64 degrees, south wind at 5. It feels like 64. The dew point is 60 right now, the humidity 87%, and the pressure is currently steady at 29.83. You're planning your day, a nice one shaping up across the area with a high of 87. Then as we go through your lunchtime, 80 degrees, 86 by 5, and 75 degrees by 8 o'clock this evening. And overnight, we're going to see lows dropping down into the lower 60s across our area, so it looks like a pretty nice evening and day. I'll have more details on that rain chance as we head towards the weekend coming up in just a few short minutes. Tanya?
I know. Everyone is excited to hear about the rain chances.
Yes,
we definitely
I know.
need it.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Sam. Well, a man dies after a crash involving a suspected drunk driver. The crash happened around 7:30 Wednesday night on Neosho Boulevard. Authorities say a pickup pulled into traffic and was hit by 2 other vehicles. There were 2 people in the bed of the pickup who were ejected in the crash. One of those people and the driver suffered moderate injuries. The other, 39-year-old Jeremy Olmstead of Neosho, was killed. The 2 other drivers were uninjured. Police found the driver of the pickup to be under the influence at the time. Formal charges are pending. Disc golf has been a growing sport since the early 1970s, and now Parsons, Kansas wants to bring the competition to town. Parsons has options for all ages with 2 courses to play from beginner to pros. Tolan Creek course was added last year, and a new course for beginners is nearing completion at Forest Park. Disc golf follows rules similar to golf, with discs designed specifically for various shots from putts to drives. Now this Saturday, September 10th at the Tolan Creek in Parson, MD Disc Golf is hosting a disc golf fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network Hospital.
We are going to be installing a beginner junior course. Parsons has a lot of different levels of courses to play, and that was one of them that they hadn't yet really tapped into to try to get the youth involved and not be intimidated by the bigger courses.
Staying in Parsons, the businesses on Main Street swell to full capacity. They've been growing since the tornado hit the city 22 years ago. According to the city, this is not the end, as the city wants to use the location as a foundation to continue building. City appreciates the older businesses that have been a great foundation for the growth that has been happening over the past years.
We're excited when a new place opens up, and it's good for the town and good for us. You know, the more places are downtown, the better off it is for everyone. So,
a business that recently left Main Street was replaced almost immediately.
And let's take a look at the next 7 days. A nice warm day today with a high of 87, then tomorrow 88. But we have some changes in the forecast. You can see Saturday night into Sunday morning, a chance of rain, mainly up to the north. But the main thing is the cooler temperatures as we head into Sunday afternoon, a high of only 75. But look at those morning lows, Tanya, 54 on Monday morning and a high of only 84. And then the 50s continue into Tuesday morning as well. So summer returns, though, as we head towards the early part of next week.
All right.
Summer's hanging on for dear life.
It is. It is. I wish it would just go away. I'm ready for fall. I want those fall temperatures. I've broken out the pumpkin spice. I'm ready for it all. Yes.
Oh, boy.
Not winter, fall.
Well, we're going to try our best. So we'll get a little taste of fall, but then summer returns as we head towards the early part of next week, though.
All right. Well, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. If you're looking for something fun for the whole family this weekend, we've got Kenny Kimmel in studio this morning with all the information you need to know about the Cherokee Fall Festival.
And plus, people across the pond aren't the only ones mourning the loss of England's longest reigning monarch. Americans take a look back on her legacy of accomplishments and bid a fond and heartfelt farewell.
And one new study warns excessive weight gain during pregnancy could double the likelihood of having a child with ADHD. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're joined in studio this morning with Kenny Kimmel from the Cherokee American Legion to tell us about the big Cherokee Fall Festival coming up this weekend. Now, this is actually a 2-day event with events that start on Friday night.
Friday night's our
tonight.
bean feed,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much been traditional. It's almost kind of a standalone event. You know, it's always been a part of the homecoming, but it's it's a long-running tradition that a lot of people are aware of, and we usually do pretty good there. So, and then the main part of it is Saturday.
Okay, and before we get into the detail of Saturday's events, let's talk about the tradition of the Cherokee Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you guys have had this homecoming festival for years.
For years. And for a long time, it kind of started off as the old high school, the old school that was in Cherokee, and it's not there anymore. They've moved out to Southeast, but for a long time, the high school used to do a homecoming event where it was like an all school, and they did it on the conjunction with our fall festival. So it's kind of got it started calling the homecoming, which actually it's always been the fall festival.
Right.
And it got into the homecoming because all of the people that went to school around there would come back that weekend knowing that they'd get to see a whole bunch of other people. And
it'd be chock full of events and everything.
It was just a good time to have a big crowd in town and to do a bunch of stuff. So the homecoming kind of came along as just a tag on to the fall festival.
Well, and you guys have a lot of activities planned throughout the day. I think the first thing kicking everything off is a car show in the morning.
And on Saturday morning, which is another pretty much long-standing tradition for the fall festival, we have a car show that's right next to the grade school downtown, and they have some, if you like cars and trucks and tractors and all that, they got some pretty nice stuff to look at.
And the Ladies Auxiliary, we're going to be hosting a turkey and noodle feed as well.
That's something else that they've been doing for a long time. We used to do a turkey shoot in November, and we would buy frozen turkeys to give away at the turkey shoot, and we'd always have a few left over. So they started doing this turkey and noodle feed just as something to do with the extra turkeys, and it's just something that caught on, and they always do pretty well at it. They get quite a good turnout for it.
Now, the turkey and noodles is actually a fundraiser for the Ladies Auxiliary.
Exactly.
What kind of things are they raising money to support?
Well, basically they support the American Legion, and we have a lot of things. The American Legion has been struggling lately, the one in Cherokee, because of diminished membership and everything. And we have some repairs to our building that we need, so we're working on raising funds for roof repairs, and then our general, community support is basically what we're for, is to support youth sports and the youth activities in school and stuff. And basically that support comes in the form of money most of the time. So.
And speaking of sports, you guys have a fun event that will be happening on Saturday as well, a cornhole tournament.
Right.
Yeah, seems to be growing in popularity.
Well, it does, and I can't tell you a whole lot about cornhole because I actually have never played it. In fact, I was first made aware of it probably about a year or so ago when they called me and said, would it be okay if they had one there on the American Legion ground? And I thought, well, I ain't never heard of it, but when they explained it to me, it sounded kind of like a version of horseshoes, which I have done before, is played horseshoes. So.
Yeah,
and it turned out really good. I mean, we had a good crowd and everything, and this will be, I think, probably about the second or third one that we put on there at the American Legion. So
people can register, like, you don't have to be pre-registered, you could show up that day and register.
Right. In
Get
fact,
there by noon so you can get started.
Generally we have them register. I mean, they're certainly welcome to pre-register if they want, but basically it's more a show up and register when you get there, and then we'll set up the matches and everything.
All right, well that sounds like a lot of fun. Now, one of the big changes this year is the parade used to be in the mornings. It's now shifting to evening to try to get maybe a bigger crowd.
Well, I wouldn't say that a bigger crowd, because I mean we used to get some pretty good sized crowds during the daytime. I think the main reason for shifting it to later, there was obviously some consideration. We basically really just started working and putting this all together about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and as you know, we were in the middle of a crushing heat wave. So there was a lot of consideration given for the temperatures, and thought maybe if we did it a little later when it's a little cooler, we might be getting more people. But it was also, I think, an attempt to, we're trying to get younger blood infused into the planning and the organization and everything, because a lot of the American Legion people, and the Ruritan is another group that has been involved in this, and they're suffering from the same problem we are, as natural attrition, you know, is lower in your numbers, and if you don't get younger people joining, you kind of go away. And so we were trying to get, the high school had a couple events going on Saturday, and I think there's a cheerleading competition and a volleyball tournament, and we thought, well, if we're going to get the high school involved, we're going to have to be late enough that they can show up and participate. So
Right, so the parade's at 5, and then after the parade, you have a slew of events and activities.
Right. We have the street dance, which the American Legions put on every year. We get a band and put a stage out front, and if the weather agrees with us, we get to do it outside, and that's nice. But we are prepared to move inside if we happen to get rain or whatever. That's good to know. And then we've got the games and everything. They got a street tractor pull and some other stuff going on, a cakewalk and all that, and
Disc golf, hole-in-one, a bounce house, and then you have a hot dog feed in the evening as well.
Right.
All right, so lots of fun things. We'll have the schedule, of course.
Lots of stuff to eat.
Yeah. Food is always good. We'll have where you can find out more information. You can go to our website and find a link to that, of course, KOAMnewsnow.com. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Hope you guys have. And I think the weather will be good. It'll be a little bit cooler than what we had
That's
originally
always
thought,
good,
so,
though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, no complaints there. All right.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Topping Nationwide this morning, the sad announcement of Queen Elizabeth II's death continues rocking the world. The longest reigning monarch in British history passing away at her summer home in Scotland on Thursday after her health took a turn for the worst. Ashley Dvorkin has a look at how her death is affecting people across the United States as folks here remember Her Majesty's incredible international impact.
But it is also true.
It's the end of an era. Queen Elizabeth II passing away at the age of 96 Thursday, leaving behind a massive legacy after serving as England's longest reigning monarch for the last 70 years.
We just didn't think this woman was ever going to die.
Her death sending shockwaves across the pond as tributes continue pouring in.
The thoughts and prayers of the American people are with the people of the United Kingdom.
The White House flying the American flag at half-staff in her honor. The National Football League holding a moment of silence.
Thank you. In the memory of Queen Elizabeth, whose message of unity and peace inspired people throughout the world.
And as Americans look back at her international influence, many say the Queen's integrity never ceased to inspire.
As a woman, sometimes that's really hard to have the combination of those two, of like being, in a position of power, but then also to be very graceful but stern in the decisions that you make. But I think she just did it so well.
But just like that, Britain now has a new monarch, with British common law specifying the next in line takes over the throne immediately after the passing of their predecessor.
And I just hope to goodness that Prince Charles is going to try at least to follow in his mother's footsteps, which those are some big footsteps.
With the Queen's 73-year-old son Charles automatically becoming King Charles III Thursday. His second wife Camilla, now Queen Consort.
I'm not quite ready to sing God Save the King, that's for sure.
As people come to terms with this loss, officials expect a state funeral for the Queen in a little over a week's time.
And of course, our thoughts and prayers are going out to the people of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth nations. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. We have another beautiful day shaping up across the 4 states. We are watching rain chances, though, especially up towards the north. Not everybody's going to get rain, unfortunately, and we are looking at some chilly mornings for the entire area as we head towards Sunday morning, especially. Skywatch radar all clear right now, and it's going to stay that way most of today. We have to go all the way up to the plain states, the northern plains, before we start running into precipitation, and that's associated with that cold front that is dropping southward that will cool our temperatures as we go towards the weekend. We're also watching the remnants of Tropical Storm K affecting Southern California, helping out with the drought situation there. Beautiful sunrise across our area right now, 7th and Range Line. A beautiful morning with temperatures in the 60s, 64 right now. It feels like 64 because the dew point's only 60 degrees, humidity 87%, and the pressure is currently steady on those south winds. Temperatures across the region this morning are very pleasant. 63 in Yates Center, Fredonia, also in Pittsburgh, 64 in Nevada, a little bit cooler over there in Monette with 60, as well as down in Cassville, 61 in Grove, and meanwhile it's 63 over in Columbus. Your bus stop forecast sending out the kids to school, 65 degrees this morning, southeasterly winds, and then as they come home from school this afternoon, we're going to see mostly fair skies and a temperature of around 83 degrees. All right, let's take a look at your planning forecast. We're going to see temperatures in the 80s once again today, upper 80s by the time you get off work at 86. And of course, we'll have more details coming up in your forecast, so stay tuned.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, excessive weight gain during pregnancy among women with obesity and diabetes may double the likelihood of having a child who develops ADHD. And that's according to a new study by the Endocrine Society. Researchers say they did not find a higher risk in this group if mothers gained a healthy amount of weight. That's a look at one of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And speaking of health, we are looking into the allergy forecast, but first, even into her 90s, Queen Elizabeth II kept up her royal duties. She became the longest reigning monarch in British history back in 2015. At 25 years old, Elizabeth became queen, and millions watched the first ever televised crowning of a British monarch. Queen Elizabeth worked with more than a dozen British prime ministers, beginning with the Winston Churchill, and was head of state in 15 other Commonwealth countries. That brings us to something to talk about. Do you plan on honoring Queen Elizabeth II? 26% said yes, 74% said no, and we want to hear from you. KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, the KOAM app on Facebook, or of course scan our QR code. All right, let's take a look at the allergy forecast because a lot of folks are suffering from that. A lot of this is ragweed and nettle as well as chenopod's. Today we're going to be about 10.6 out of 12, and then tomorrow a little bit of improvement at around 10.0, but still it's pretty bad this year with all the ragweed. Your forecast looks like this. We do have a system dropping down from the north that will start to move through Kansas as we go through tomorrow afternoon and evening, but notice as we go through time, the showers start to dissipate as they move closer to us. The best chance of rain will be up to the north, but still we'll see some cooler temperatures across our area with that cold front moving through, changing our wind direction around to the north and dropping our dew points, allowing temperatures to drop down into the 50s as we go through Sunday night into Monday morning. And by Sunday afternoon, we'll see temperatures only in the mid 70s for highs across our area. Then as we go into Monday morning, check this out, 52 degrees for the low. And of course, I'll have more details in your forecast coming straight up, so you want to stay tuned for that.
Right now, a Wednesday evening crash takes the life of a man in Neosho, and authorities find evidence of driving under the influence.
And another warm day across the 4 states, but there are some changes in the forecast, including a slight chance of rain and also some cooler mornings. We'll have details.
And the city of Parsons looks to tee up a disc golf tournament to benefit the Children's Miracle Network Hospital.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
And I'm Sam Lane, sitting in for the wonderful Chris, who's taking a few days off.
All right, it's wonderful to have you with us.
Well, it's good to be here this morning. A little bit early, but I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, you're doing great too.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, well, what also is great is the weather out there.
I know, we have some great weather shaping up today. Another beautiful day on tap for the region. And we have slight rain chances as we head towards Sunday morning, but chilly mornings are the big story as we're going to have a cold front move through, and that means more fall-like conditions, and I think everyone's ready for that, certainly after the summer that we've had. Right now, radar is all clear across the 4-state area. We have to go all the way up to the northern plains before we start to run into any rainfall, but that is a harbinger of things to come. Unfortunately, most of the rain is probably going to stay to the north, but at least we will start to see some cooler weather move into our area and get people into the fall spirit. Also, we're watching some rain in Southern California in association with Tropical Storm K. That's going to give them a little bit of relief from the drought, but right now it's a beautiful sunrise across the 4 states with bright sunshine expected for this afternoon. 64 right now in Joplin, feels like 64 because the dew point is 60. Humidity at 87% and the pressure is currently steady. Temperatures are not only pleasant here in Joplin, but look around the region, pick out your hometown. 61 in Iola, 63 in Independence, 60 degrees for our friends over in Sedan, 61 in Anderson as well as Grove. So a pretty pleasant morning shaping up. If you're heading out to school this morning, we're going to see temperatures in the mid 60s, 65 and southeasterly winds. And then if you come home this afternoon, we're going to see temperatures in the lower 80s, around 83 degrees with partly cloudy skies. And for everyone else, if you're planning your day, 80 degrees at lunch, 86 at 5 o'clock, and 75 degrees by 8 o'clock tonight. Then we're going to see lows dropping down into the lower 60s once again tonight with 62 as temperatures fall through the 60s in the overnight hours. Your weekend forecast looks like this. Saturday, a chance of showers late Saturday into early Sunday morning, but check out the high, only 75 for your Sunday. And I'll have more details in your forecast coming straight up, so you want to stay tuned for that, Tanya.
All right, thank you so much, Sam. Our top story, a man dies after a crash involving a suspected drunk driver. The crash happened around 7:30 Wednesday night on Neosho Boulevard. Authorities say a pickup pulled into traffic and was hit by two other vehicles. There were two people in the bed of the pickup who were ejected in the crash. And one of those people and the driver suffered moderate injuries. The other, 39-year-old Jeremy Olmstead of Neosho, was killed. The two other drivers were uninjured. And police found the driver of the pickup under the influence at the time. Formal charges are pending. Disc golf has been a growing sport since the early 1970s, and now Parsons looks to tee up the competition for the community. With two courses to play from beginner to pros, Parsons has options for all ages. Tolan Creek course was put in last year, and Forest Park is in the process of getting new baskets for beginners. Disc golf follows the similar rules to golf, with disc from putters to drives.
Behind me, we got one of the original baskets that was installed here in the late 80s when this course was first put into the ground. And we are updating to some modern baskets that are approved for PDGA play in tournaments sanctioned.
This Saturday, September 10th, at Tolan Creek in Parsons, MD Disc Golf is hosting a disc golf fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network Hospital. While Parsons grows its community recreation, it also has grown its business side as the stores on Main Street have swelled to full capacity. And they've been growing since the tornado hit the city 22 years ago. According to the city, this is not the end, as Parsons wants to use the location as a foundation to continue to build. The city appreciates the older businesses that have been a great foundation for the growth that has been happening over the past years.
You want to have a place where there's a good grouping of stores, so if someone wants to do some Christmas shopping, they can come down and walk around or whatever, so that's a big deal.
A business that recently left Main Street was replaced almost immediately.
That's always good news. All right, let's look at the forecast. You can see showers and storms expected across Kansas by tomorrow evening, but then the showers start to decrease in intensity and also coverage areas. We move into Sunday. Unfortunately, most of the rain is going to stay up to the north, but at least cooler temperatures are going to start moving into our area with highs only in the mid 70s on Sunday. And check out Monday morning, 52 here in Joplin, with some areas could see upper 40s for lows on Monday morning.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, our own Shannon Becker drops by the studio to wrap up the week with his big three news stories.
That's right, and plus tributes continue to pour in as people remember the life of Queen Elizabeth II, not just in England, but all around the world. And of course, from our own four-state area, we take a look back on the life of England's longest reigning monarch, and we let you weigh in as well. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's Friday, and you know what that means. Shannon Becker joins us in the studio to give us the big three stories of the week.
That's right. If it's on the wall, then it's real, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If it's on print on the internet, then it's true. No, just kidding. Number three this week. It's the big three stories of the week. Joplin News first. It was a wrong-way driver in McDonald County that killed three people. The three people killed were in that wrong-way vehicle. They struck head-on US 71 in Pineville city limits. The driver of the other vehicle, a Neosho girl, we understand, messaged yesterday, is recovering in a Joplin hospital, and it's looking a positive recovery.
Yeah, she's 17 years
Yeah,
old.
17 years old, boy.
Wow.
It's scary, scary stuff. Number 2, Joplin News First, what's live and local, what people are talking about. I know this is one of your big stories today. A Neosho man thrown from the back of a pickup bed. I didn't know people still rode in the back of pickups. As it was pulling from a business, it pulled out in front of 2 vehicles and was struck on Neosho Boulevard. Threw those 2 men out of the back of that pickup. One of them died at Mercy Hospital later.
In most communities, it's not legal.
Yeah, well, and
Yes.
obviously you're supposed to be wearing a seatbelt.
Yes.
Not many seatbelts in the back of pickup trucks. And our number 1 story is kind of a combination here. Okay, so Maria's Mexican restaurant, been in Joplin 17 years now, and it's in the shadow of the Range Line Bridge overpass that's being rebuilt right now.
Right.
So here's what we want to be sure and tell you. Maria's is moving. It'll be October 1st, but 29th Street remains open and 27th Street remains open. So all the access to all those businesses along Range Line, because really the bridge is just about 20 some feet long. It's not that big. So the roads on the edges, and it's a big earthen berm that it goes up to, the roads on the edges still remain open. So
You can still get to all the
you can
businesses.
get to everything. Yeah, Oasis Salon and Day Spa, Import Warehouse, and the new Maria's. You can get to all those things.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you have construction like this, people want to avoid the area, so
Right.
it's going to hurt. But these businesses need your support now more than
Exactly,
ever. So
exactly.
If you feel like going out and these are one of your regular spots, just take the effort to get there.
Everybody's been talking about New Maria's. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And then our bonus story of the week. I love this. So cool. NASCAR. This weekend, the Neosho Wildcats are featured on a NASCAR at Kansas Motor Speedway. So here it is. There's a company called Circle B Diecast. They're one of the biggest retailers of little diecast cars for NASCAR. And they're based in, of all places, Neosho. And the owner is a graduate of Neosho, and he's like, I always like the Wildcat colors. So this weekend, they're sponsoring the car, and they've wrapped it with Neosho Wildcats.
So can you get little Neosho Wildcat
I
diecast cars this
didn't. I'm
weekend?
sure after this weekend, but I didn't get one. I didn't ask about it, but we'll have more details on that when it comes. But watch
really
the
neat.
race on Sunday. It's going to be 2:00 at Kansas Motor Speedway. All right.
All right. Well, if you don't mind sticking around for another hour, we'll have you back on.
Yeah, just
More details.
stick me somewhere. I'll be back.
I'll put you in that first chair this
Okay.
time.
All right.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Shannon.
you.
We'll be right back. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Howard Blundell Jr. Sergeant Blundell served in the Army from 1969 to 1971, and he served a tour in Vietnam. During his service, he earned the Vietnam Service Medal, the Vietnam Campaign Medal, and the Army Commendation Medal. Native of Chautauqua, Kansas, we thank you. Today's four-state hero, Howard Blundell Jr.
And now let's talk about birthdays. We have Caroline Mirando, who turns 6 years old today, enjoying some icicles there this past summer, I'm sure.
Actually,
and her birthday is on Sunday, and she's from Pittsburgh.
The cool thing about that is she gets to celebrate today, tomorrow, and Sunday.
That's
Yeah.
right, a whole birthday weekend.
All right, Stetson Model is 7 strong this year in Cherryville, with birthday love coming from Grandma and Sparky.
And Hudson Walker, 7 years old in Miami. Happy birthday to you, Hudson. Hope you have a great one.
All right, Blaine Tatum is getting ready to celebrate his golden birthday. Of course, turning 10 on the 10th. He's in Carl Junction.
And of course, Zoe Elmore turned 16 in Columbus. Her birthday was actually yesterday, and she's the granddaughter of business manager Rhonda Zook.
Oh yeah, it's hard to
Pretty
believe.
cool.
I remember when she was born. How is she already 16?
Oh, you're dating yourself now.
I know. Yeah. See, Cohen Epler celebrating Sweet 16 as well. Cohen is in Columbus.
And Tanner Stewart turns 27, and he is in McCune. Happy birthday to you, Tanner.
Looks like he's got his hands full there.
Looks like he does.
Yeah. And Michael Baxter celebrating birthday number 34 this year in Carl Junction with love from the wife and kids.
And Amy Dooley in Columbus is celebrating her 36th birthday today. Congratulations, Amy.
You'll notice on the morning show we have a lot of Columbus birthdays.
We do.
We like to say there's always a party in the bus. Yes. And Gina Kendall celebrating birthday number 51 out in Galesburg with lots of love from the family.
And over in Chinook, we have Doug Toon celebrating his or her. I believe that's Doug Toon, 65 years old over there in Chinook.
All right. And Ann Egbert in McCune says here that her husband Clark had a birthday on September 2nd, so they're both celebrating
There you
together
go.
there.
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Clark. And Matthew Rattery in Frontenac celebrating his birthday today.
All right, and in Crestline, just down the road there, Tammy Bunce is celebrating. Happy birthday, Tammy.
And over in Walnut, Kansas, we have Mary Jo Little celebrating her birthday.
All right, pretty in pink there.
Yep.
Mike and Lori Houston are celebrating their 6th anniversary. It looks like they were on a cruise recently.
Yeah, maybe
That's
the
pretty
Branson
cool.
Bell or something.
All right.
And Chris and Kaylee Dooley over in Carl Junction celebrating their 11th anniversary. So congratulations to you.
A lot of anniversaries today.
A lot of them too.
In Joplin, the Turners are celebrating 41 years of wedded bliss. Congrats going out to Steve and Carolyn Turner.
And hang on, because this is a special one. 50th Golden Anniversary being celebrated by Chuck and Twyla Bussey. So congratulations on your 50th anniversary.
All right, our birthday and anniversary list goes on. We've got Mercedes Morris turning 33 in Parsons, Pat Jacobberger celebrating a birthday in Columbus, and Rhonda Kimmick in Helper, Kansas. Happy birthday.
And Jimmy Sloan, 31, over in Baxter Springs. Daniel Vinestra over in Mound Valley celebrating 68 years. And Mike and Sandy Wammeldorf in Parsons celebrating their 39th anniversary.
All right, down in Miami, Timothy Baker turning 27 years old, and Justin Reno celebrating the big 50 this weekend in Pickaway, Kansas. He's going to be partying for sure. If you have a birthday or anniversary, you can submit them to us easily through our email at birthdays with an S, don't forget that S, at KOAMTV.com or birthdays at KOAMNewsNow.com.
And you can become a part of that birthday club by going to our website and signing up. And you can get special deals from local businesses, so you can't miss out on that. So go to KOAMNewsNow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. And speaking of today, we've got clear skies right now on radar, and it's going to stay that way most of the day. As we go through the afternoon, we'll start to see clouds increase just a little bit from the north and west from the next storm system that's going to be moving down from the north. And you can see the storms all the way up to the northern plains. That's part of that cold front that's moving in our direction, bringing in some cooler and more fall-like weather. I wish we had more rain with it, but unfortunately it looks like it's just going to be isolated showers at this point. And also some rain in Southern California with the remnants of Tropical Storm K. Beautiful sunrise across the 4 states this morning, the 7th of range line. Nice morning shaping up with temperatures in the 60s. 64 right now, feels like 64 because the dew point is 60. 87% on the humidity and the pressure is currently steady. Temperatures are very nice across the entire area. Check out Monette with 60 as well as Cassville. That's open the windows type weather down there. 63 in Pittsburgh, 63 in Yates Center, Fredonia, and Independence. That's also 60 degrees over there in Sedan. Your afternoon forecast looks like this. 80 degrees at lunchtime, 86 by the time you head home from work, and then 75 degrees as you head out to the football games later on tonight. Then we're going to be seeing temperatures dropping through the 60s overnight to around a low of 62 by Saturday morning. And we're going to see those southerly winds ahead of that cold front. But then notice storms start to develop up in northwestern Kansas, extending up into Iowa with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s tomorrow. But then as the front moves to the south and east, we're going to see the cold front move through, temperatures turning around to the north and temperatures dropping. But the showers are mainly going to be up towards the north with around 57 degrees by 9 a.m. on Sunday. And then in the afternoon, we're going to see temperatures in the mid-70s across our area with northerly winds. It certainly will feel a lot cooler out there. Then as we go through Monday morning, check out the low, 52 degrees. Some areas could actually see upper 40s in some of those cooler river valleys. And then by Monday afternoon, we'll see highs in the mid-80s once again across our area. Your 7-day forecast looks like this. 87 today, 88 on Sunday, much cooler on Sunday with a high of 75. Then we start to go back into the summertime pattern as we start the middle part of next week with drier conditions. Unfortunately, that's going to exacerbate the drought situation just a little bit. Stay tuned because we have more news and weather coming straight up, so stay with us.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A crash takes the life of a man in Neosho. It happened around 7:30 Wednesday night on Neosho Boulevard. Authorities say a pickup pulled into traffic and was hit by 2 other vehicles. The driver and one passenger suffered moderate injuries. 39-year-old Jeremy Olmstead of Neosho was killed. Both drivers were uninjured, and police found the driver of the pickup to be under the influence. On Thursday, no one was injured when an SUV rear-ended a Joplin school bus. The bus was loaded with Joplin students headed to Soaring Heights Elementary. The school district says parents were contacted and most of the students were taken to school on another bus, while some were transported by parents. And once at school, the students were checked by district nurses. Police in Las Vegas arrest the Clark County Public Administrator Robert Tellis for the murder of veteran newspaper reporter Jeff German. The police say video reveals the suspect confronted the journalist outside his home last Friday morning. On Wednesday, police traced DNA found on Tellis's hat and shoes to the crime scene. Tellis accused German of derailing his re-election. And Britons look back on the life and legacy of Queen Elizabeth II's 7-decade reign. Queen Elizabeth ruled through 15 prime ministers. The Queen's passing on Thursday instantly elevated her son, Charles, to King Charles III. President Biden and the First Lady paid their respects and signed a condolence book at the British Embassy yesterday. The American flag flew at half-staff at the White House and the U.S. Capitol in the Queen's honor. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And if you're heading out the door, we're going to see mostly fair skies today with temperatures in the upper 80s, 86 at around 5 o'clock, and then 75 once you head out to the football games tonight. We're expecting showers over the weekend, but mainly up towards the north. You can see the front starting to move into Kansas as we go through tomorrow afternoon and evening. But then as we go through Saturday night into Sunday morning, we're going to see temperatures falling behind that cold front, around 57 for your Sunday morning with the showers mainly up towards the north. And then Sunday afternoon, a high of only around 75 to 77 degrees. And then as we go through Sunday night into Monday morning, temperatures in the lower 50s, even some upper 40s in some of the outlying areas. And then we're going to see temperatures rebounding into the mid 80s as we head into Monday afternoon. Your forecast looks like this. Today, mostly fair and warm, 87, 88 tomorrow, 75 for your Sunday, and then 84 on Monday. And then summer returns once again as we head towards the middle part of next week with unfortunately no chances of rain in there. Hopefully we'll start to see some better chances of rain later in the forecast. But of course, until then, we're going to have to deal with warmer conditions, but at least we get a little bit of a taste of fall as we go into Saturday night into Sunday morning. And again, the best chance of showers will be Sunday morning up towards the north. Tanya?
Today at noon, we're making chopstick veggie fried rice in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
That sounds nice. And your morning news continues on KOAM with this CBS morning news. Of course, Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch and one of the most enduring royal personalities of the world, has died at the age of 96. Coming up on CBS Morning, we're going to take a look at the remarkable life and legacy of Queen Elizabeth II.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, our own Shannon Becker is back in the studio with us to wrap up the week with his Big 3 news stories.
And of course, our own Chris Warner takes a closer look at the Southwest Power Pool as we wrap up our Power to the People series.
All right, and that'll wrap it up for now.
We'll be back, I'll be back tomorrow, but I guess you'll be back on Monday.
Monday morning, that's right. And we're going to do it all again today at noon.